Hi Megan, how are you? Loved your video. Okay, I made some comments. First of all, I'm pretty sure I know Emily. I'm I've had Emily in class. I mean, that name is so familiar to me when you were talking about that. So, and I teach doctoral courses as well as masters. So, at some point in my last 6 years, our paths have crossed, and probably more than once because her name seems so familiar to me. Um, and definitely, she would have been an exceptional student. That's the only ones I remember. No, I'm kidding. I wrote down some notes as far as, yeah, I wrote down great mentor. And I thought that was commendable that you acknowledged that she is that. And when you get someone who's moved into the administrative position as quickly as she has, as you indicated, she was only an AP like a couple years. Um, what an incredible person to have at your disposal because you're going to learn a lot from them. Someone who's been in the occupation in the career for 10 years somewhat forgets what it was like at the very beginning. And I ran into that with my mentor when I moved into higher ed. I'd been a superintendent, so I moved into higher ed, and my mentor had been in higher ed his whole life. He had no clue how to relate to me. And he wasn't, because he had tenure. Tenure is so different in higher ed. He didn't really have to worry about a lot of the things that I had to worry about, so he couldn't help me. So having someone who has that fresh memory of what it's like to move into your position is instrumental in your success as far as being able to guide you and help you. I also wrote down that the part about surrounding yourself. I love the point that you made when you talked about surrounding yourself with people that could benefit you, and I don't mean benefit you in a selfish way, but could benefit you in a professional way. And one of the things when as you remember from self-mentoring, it's not something you do in isolation. You develop the people that you need at your disposal to assist you, and that can change. It's going to change over time as your needs change. The self-mentoring team I started with that I developed my first year is not the same self-mentoring team I have now. And it's going to change again. And sometimes it changes frequently and sometimes it lasts for a longer period of time. So that whole part of recognizing your needs. There was my husband always shared with me a quote. I didn't read it, but he had read it, and it was about Queen Latifah. And one of the things that she was talking about when they asked her about her success, as you know, she was a female rapper and then she's moved into movies and she's had a successful career and still continues to have that. Was she said that at some point you have to surround yourself with people that are going to help you grow. If you continue to stay with the people that you were with, you're not challenged and you're not going to grow any. You have to find people that you aspire to be or in positions you aspire to because they can mentor you. They can help you learn what you need in order to make those changes. So I think that it really does come down to that, and you pointed that out very nicely. So I think that of all the things you talked about, that was the one thing that I remembered so well that drove home. And I was also like Emily, I was getting my doctorate at the same time I was a superintendent. It is absolutely suicide. But the parallel to that is that if you can survive it, you grow so much because you're actually in the field and everything you're learning, you're applying. I know my faculty, when I was superintendent, told me that they thought they should have gotten honorary doctoral degrees because they went through it with me. Because every time I'd read a new book, I'd be so excited and I'd come in and, oh, guys, I learned this. Let's try this. And they'd be like, oh. And some of it was very effective and worked. And then sometimes we were like, okay, that's nice and that do what you have to do with that, but it doesn't, it's not practical application in our particular situation. So it was a learning experience that was very beneficial to my faculty, to me. I mean, we were learning it together. I shared with them what I was going through. Um, but it was rough. I can remember back, I don't know how I survived it. There was times it was extremely rough. So accolades to her for doing it and for you as well with everything that you're doing. I really did enjoy your video and all the points that you made. I thought you did a great job. Anyway, thanks for sharing.